The upcoming years will be of interest in the world of streaming services, with brands like Disney opting to bypass third parties and create a streaming service of their own. And if it is fruitful, and it seems like it will be, then one has to assume other brands will follow a similar path. And honestly, Scott, what are your thoughts on this? Because when streaming services arrived, they appeared like to be a cheap, more convenient alternative to cable. If this culminates as it appears it may, then this might amount to something very expensive for the average consumer.
So, if we look at it as the idea that a bunch of them are going to branch off and become something aside from Netflix, then I don't think that it's going to work out. I think it'll go the way of cable, and it'll end up just getting too heavy and then imploding back in on itself. I don't see the appeal to the average consumer to get out there and say, I want Netflix, I want Disney, I want HBO Go, I want Stars on Demand, I want all of them, and I want them to all be $15 a month. Because now...
Well, I don't think that they're going to be $15 a month. I think that they're going to have a various range depending on the content.
Sure, I think that they'll probably range from about $9, which is what you see with Netflix, to $15, which is what you see HBO Go. So, I think that you'll probably get in a range in about that. But the thing is that the average consumer is not going to pay for all of them. They're going to choose one, and then it's going to suffer from there on out. All the other ones are going to suffer. I don't think Disney's going to have enough appeal to be the one.
I don't think that Disney has the capabilities to be the one, but I'm wondering if this will change the way we consume media, if we consume it in a different way. Like, for instance, maybe we'll have our HBO or our Hulu or Amazon, and then we're going to have something else supplementing it. And I definitely think Disney could be that. I think that it might really change the landscape, because for now we won't be seeing it because it's only a $10 thing, and it does definitely add up eventually down the line if you start getting if Warner Brothers decides that they want to do stuff with all the because they own a lot of content themselves. If Universal starts to do it, then it'll definitely start to be heavy duty. But I'm wondering if it'll be 1 month you go to this, 1 month you go to this, and it's like a back and forth kind of thing. You go to what seems more appealing for that month. I'm wondering if that's going to be the
I don't think it will, because
to.
Disney is so static. Disney is going to only provide that static little area. And all you're going to get is what Disney has to offer, which Disney has a lot of media now. But a lot of Disney's media is in the theaters. A lot of it is, the appeal is to go watch it while it's in a theater.
Not only that, though, they have a lot of shows now, too. Not just the shows that are on the Disney Channel, Disney XD, things like that, but whenever they purchased 20th Century Fox, what all does Fox have and what else? I don't know exactly what they received. I don't know if they received Family Guy or not. I'm pretty sure they did. I don't know if they have The Simpsons. I know that they have Futurama, but they have a lot of new material that's just going to be capable to be streamable. And people would like to see that stuff. And that stuff will be taken from other streaming services.
I don't think that it's going to be able to compete with Netflix like it thinks it's going to be able to compete with Netflix. And the reason is because Netflix has so much original content that is appealing from all different areas. It's not just sitting there with Disney's appeal. Disney, whenever you think of Disney, even though it's got a lot, it's got Fox, it's got Disney, it's got Marvel and Star Wars and things like that. It's got a lot, but whenever you think about it, you don't think about all that stuff normally. So the average consumer isn't going to sit back and think, well, Disney is not just Disney anymore. Now it has Fox and
unless they
Marvel,
don't call it that.
and Lucas.
Because we talked about it before where it seemed like they were perhaps going to... I don't remember the final word on it of whether or not they did receive ownership of Hulu. But, if they did market it as something else, do you think maybe that'd be different?
So if they still continued to market it as Hulu and just started to put their own appeal onto it, like their own shows, I think that it would still hold neck and neck with Netflix. I don't think it's going to topple Netflix, but I think it'll hold neck and neck with Netflix, where they split the revenue pot, I guess. But honestly, I don't think that a bunch of streaming networks, or whatever you want to call them, services, are going to be ideal for the average consumer. The average consumer nowadays is getting away from cable not because cable has went down in the years. It hasn't. It hasn't really changed. The thing is that cable costs too much. Cable costs a lot of money, and you don't get to watch what you want when you want. Netflix provides that right now for $9 a month. It provides you with pretty much unlimited entertainment. You cannot watch the entire library of Netflix in a year, and it's ever changing. So there's an unlimited amount of content on there. Now, the appeal to another service is that, hey, I've watched a lot of the Netflix originals. I've watched a lot of these other shows when they were on TV or whatnot, and maybe these other streaming services are going to provide that. But I don't believe Disney's going to come in at the same price frame. I think they're going to think that they're better because of their name value, and they're going to want to provide a higher content, and they're going to ask for more money. They're going to ask for it based on Star Wars. They're going to ask for it based on Marvel. They're going to ask for it based on the Disney name brand, and they're probably going to ask upwards of, I would think that when Disney comes out, if they decide to do their streaming services, when they decide to do them, I'm thinking that their price point's going to be between $15 and $20.
I don't know if they've actually talked about the price range. I can't say for myself. I would probably think right now $9.99 is what they'll probably go with, because that's the best price you can ever go with.
$9.99.
Yeah, it's going to be a great price.
Seems like a network has done that.
At the same time, though, this does allow a narrowed-in type of service. I don't know if everyone's looking at the grand scheme of things. Most of us aren't very altruistic when it comes to it. We're not thinking about helping studios. We don't care. We're like, what's the bigger thing? What's the bigger bang for our buck, so to speak? But there are streaming services like Shudder, which focuses on horror-based television programming, horror-based movies. And if you think about it from that perspective, the money you put toward investing into Shudder actually goes toward creating exclusive content. And this is kind of something that's become popular over the years with like Indiegogo, Kickstarter, and things like that, where people will actually put money forth to put things that they believe are worth seeing. And I think that that's going to take into effect with certain topics. Like, then you have like Crunchyroll, which is a streaming service that is dedicated toward anime-based things. If you looked at it from a purely helpful perspective of supporting the material that you want to see more of, the content that you want to see more of, then it's actually a pretty cool concept in the sense that if we like put money toward Crunchyroll, will that cause us to see more high production and better anime? Will we see more anime come out? Like, instead of having to wait 600 years for the new season of Attack on Titan, maybe we can get it the next year.
But think about it in this context, because this has happened before in other media sources. Think about it whenever books were replaced by Kindle. And it's not a complete replacement, but it is. Brick and mortar stores are going out of business. We don't have a lot of Barnes & Nobles are out of business. A lot of the other companies that used to be big are now going out. So you don't see a lot of brick and mortar stores. And even Barnes & Noble, when they first got into it, they had the Nook reader. I don't know if you remember that. It was called the Nook. Amazon has what they call the Kindle. Those two things branched out and tried to compete against each other. People like their items in one place. They don't want to go 5 different places for their items. And that's why I think that only one of them is going to be the end-all be-all. And I'm not saying there won't be small branches here and there, and because there are people who have very specific taste. And you're going to see those people who want to put forth that money to help branch out, to get new anime or to get new horror. You're going to have those. But those are a really select few people who are going to do that. It's not the overall majority of people. And what I think you'll see is that the overall majority of people will want their content from one place. And that one place is going to end up being the one that we call the best bang for their buck. And right now, the way I see it, the best bang for your buck is going to be Netflix, because of the fact that it's the cheapest with the most content. Now, maybe Disney surprises you and comes out with content and they're going to charge the same price as Netflix. I don't see that, because I think that they're going to go on the price spec of, hey, we're a bigger name. People are going to be like, wow, it's Disney. and things like that. And for the first couple of months, I do believe that Disney is going to have a huge influx of people that come in and buy their stuff. But once people see that it's the same old Disney stuff, I think that it's going to go down. Just like...
well, I don't think it's going to be the same old Disney stuff in particular. They're going to have a lot of more programming in order to do it. They're going to probably... And like I said, with the purchase of 20th Century Fox, with those things like that, you're not just getting the normal Disney crop, but you're also getting, like, Lucasfilms, everything that 20th Century has, which includes the Avatar series, things like that. So you're getting a lot of content. Like,
you're getting content that they're not going to put on their streaming services. Like, Avatar's not going on their streaming. I mean, it might after it goes into the theaters.
Like, immediately.
The
first Avatar, not like...
Yeah, so way back in the day, but everybody's already seen that 1,500 times.
But, like, just having those movies, and then they're probably going to go right as their DVD release comes around, is whenever they're probably going to be added to the service.
I would be highly surprised if they did that within the first 3 months. Because they're still getting rentals. They're still getting rental contributes from, like, Family Video and places like that are still actually paying those royalties to have those movies as an exclusive content for however long. And then they have places like Redbox that are paying to have those.
I don't think Family Video pays them anything.
Well, they get paid from Family Video to rent out their movies. They get the copyright values on every time that's rented.
And I don't think that that's really that prestigious of a amount. Like, I don't think that they're getting that much in comparison to what they would be getting with the streaming service.
But I don't think that they're going to be able to break those contracts and things that they have.
Well, it's not coming out for maybe another year or so they'll probably have a chance to, like, clear up and schedule everything and organize it.
I just don't see them doing that. I don't see them running and putting it on there because I think that they want to stretch it out and make as much money from their buck as they possibly can. Now, I could be wrong, and you could be right, but I don't see Disney being, like, so generous in just giving the content to that. Unless they're charging a crazy high price point. If they're charging $20 a month, then I could see them doing that.
I don't think that they're going to charge that much. I would not expect them to go over $15.
They charged theaters to play Star Wars crazy amounts of money. Like, they made them give them almost 15 to 20%
But nobody
higher.
hears about that. Generally, nobody hears about that. That doesn't affect their brand value. Nobody goes like, oh, Disney doing this.
Right, and I'm not saying that anybody would care about that.
This is like face value. This is like them going like, hey, look at this. We're giving you this good deal. And these kinds of things add up because of just how much... Like, Netflix has 117 million people subscribed to their streaming service right now.
Right.
So that is a lot of money. And
a lot of Netflix's pull is that they have such a low price point. They're able to keep that price point low.
Now Netflix is up to like $12, is it not?
I think it's still at $9.
No, I'm pretty sure it's $11.99. And then the people that haven't...
I must be grandfathered in because I still only pay $9
I'm pretty sure...
a month.
No, eventually they actually had it appear or pop up on the screen their change in service. Even the people that are were grandfathered in are no longer grandfathered in.
My bill still says $9 and something, close to 10, on the when I get pulled. But the point is that I don't think Disney is going to go below a $20 price point if they're going to give the content that you're saying that they're going to give.